スケートファミリーという大きな輪が輝かしい未来を導くのです。
そう、あなたもスケートファミリーの一員なのです。
僕も、私も、
僕も、
私たちも、
僕たちも、僕も、
私たちも、
私も。
そしてこの大きな輪がスケートをますます魅力的にしていきます。
私たちはあなたと共に目指す。私たち日本が世界で一番スケートが強く盛んで愛されている国になること、スケート王国日本を樹立すること。
スケートアワード。
If you dream of standing ovations, gold medals, and record-breaking times, know one thing. The track to glory will always be clear. There will be bumps along the way. Tears will be shed. Limbs will be bruised. And so will egos. But however hard you fall, however bad you fail, you must always get up again. Up again. Up again. To rule the ice, you need to silence the critics, including the ones in your own head. Be proud of who you are. When others want you to hide, don't be afraid of what might happen. Embrace the future instead. Because to be a champion like me, to reach a higher level, you have to take risks and learn from your mistakes. Only then will you get up again. Up again. Up again.
NHK 杯国際フィギュアスケート競技大会アイスダンス、リズムダンスの競技を開始します。
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the IC Grand Prix of Figure Skating 2021 NHK Trophy. In a few minutes, we will begin the competition for ice dance rhythm dance.
はじめにご来場のお客様にお願い申し上げます。会場内は禁煙です。おタバコをお吸いの際は所定の喫煙所をご利用ください。
Welcome back to the Yoyogi National Gymnasium in Tokyo for the 2021 NHK Trophy in the fourth of 6 Grand Prix events in the International Skating Union's figure skating calendar. We've seen the pairs take to the ice for their short program, and Russia 1 and 2 there. Now we're looking at the rhythm dance, with Russian world champions likely to lead the way after this first segment of the competition. But the final couple to take to the ice, Chock and Bates, could they threaten the lead of the Russians? And before that, we'll see a very exciting duel between the two Japanese teams as they vie to be the representatives for Japan at the Olympic Games in Beijing next February. 7 pairs took to the ice. 9 ice dance teams will compete here in Tokyo. And the crowd was wonderfully warm and supportive in the pairs event, and I'm sure they will be the same here. And 2 home teams in the first group will warm them up brilliantly.
Please wear your face mask at all times and keep the proper social distance with others. In addition, we kindly ask you to refrain from cheering vocally. Please show your appreciation to the skaters with your applause. We remind you that smoking is prohibited in the arena, and flash photography as well as video recording are not allowed. Please set your phones to silent mode. Also, please do not throw any items such as flowers onto the ice at any time. We thank you very much for your cooperation.
And it was that wonderful applause from the audience in the pair short program, which helped see a personal best for Mashina and Galyamov. Be wonderful to see some season's best here in the rhythm dance as well. As we look now to see the judges, just 7 judges in the dance event, and then we'll see the technical panel as well.
Judge number 1, Mr. John Miller, USA.
America. 2番ジャッジ
Judge number 2, Ms. Anastasia Makarova, Ukraine.
ウクライナ 3番ジャッジ
Judge number 3, Mr. Sho Kagayama, Japan.
日本 4番ジャッジ
Judge number 4, Ms. Julia Andreeva, Russia.
ロシア5番ジャッジ
Judge number 5, Mr. David Munoz, Spain.
スペイン6番ジャッジ
Judge number 6, Ms. Janice Hunter, Canada.
カナダ7番ジャッジ
Judge number 7, Ms. Marketa Porklova, the Czech Republic.
チェコ技術役員
The technical panel.
テクニカルコントローラー
The technical controller, Ms. Halina Gordon-Potrak.
テクニカルスペシャリスト
The technical specialist, Ms. Julia Ray.
アシスタントテクニカルスペシャリスト
The assistant technical specialist, Ms. Nakako Tsuzuki.
And with the judges and technical panel introduced to the audience, we can now look to see the first group of skaters. 4 couples will skate in this first group. We'll see the remaining 5 couples take to the ice. In the second warm-up, couples skating in order of their world ranking. It'll be the Japanese team with former world singles champion Daisuke Takahashi starting proceedings.
From Russia, Shevchenko and Eremenko. From Japan, Komatsubara and Koleto. From Ukraine, Nazarova and Nikitin. Skaters, please start your 5-minute warm-up.
And the International Skating Union's Ice Dance Technical Committee has prescribed street dance as the rhythm for this season. So we can expect to see lots of interesting musical choices, making it a really exciting Olympic season in the dance event. And a fascinating story for the first team. Kana Muramoto and Daisuke Takahashi. Daisuke, the 2010 world champion in men's singles. He, a 3-time Olympian and returning in a different discipline now to try and compete for Japan again in his 4th Olympic Games. Fascinating tale. And it makes for a really exciting competition within the competition between these 2 dance teams as Muramoto and Takahashi warm up their Midnight Blues section, which will be one of the 5 required elements for the wobble there for Kana.
Shevchenko, Eremenko, Russia.
And the first of the 2 Russian teams competing here in Tokyo. And as with the opening Japanese team, we can see creative license within the costuming this year in the street dance rhythms.
Komatsubara and Koleto, Nippon.
And this, the only husband and wife team in the event, Komatsubara and Koleto, or Takeru Komatsubara, as is Tim's Japanese name. Tim gaining Japanese nationality 1 year ago, November 2020.
Nazarova, Nikitin, Ukraine.
The most seasoned and experienced team in this warm-up group, Nazarova and Nikitin from the Ukraine. They already Olympians, having competed in Pyeongchang in 2018. As you can see, they have some of the most creative lift positions on the ice dance scene. Some really great balance points that we've been treated to over the last few seasons from the Ukrainian couple. And just such a fascinating tale. It's 8 years since we saw Daisuke compete on the Grand Prix circuit, and that was here at the NHK Trophy when he won the men's event. And he's an Olympic medalist, he's a world champion, and he's putting himself through training again in a completely different discipline. Just a fascinating tale. And This Russian team originally not assigned any Grand Prix events, but due to withdrawals and injuries of other teams, they find themselves competing here, and I'm sure they will be embracing the opportunity. And Komatsubara and Koleto have already competed on the Grand Prix circuit. They were at the Skate America event in Las Vegas, the first of the Grand Prix. And the Japanese teams will go head to head here. They've also plans to compete against each other in the Warsaw Cup and the Japanese Nationals as they vie to see who gets the Olympic ticket to Beijing.
The warm-up is over. Skaters, please leave the ice. Thank you.
Muramoto and Takahashi
Number 1, representing Japan, Kana, Muramoto, and Takahashi.
Hard to believe that his bronze medal at the 2010 Winter Olympics was the first Olympic medal for Japan in the men's singles event. Daisuke has paved the way for legends like Yuzuru Hanyu to follow. And now let's see what he can do in the ice dance discipline. This, their Midnight Blues section, first of their 5 required elements in the rhythm dance. Midnight Blues section must be followed up by their pattern dance type step sequence. Wow, what an interesting take on the street dance rhythm. Could almost have been folk dance, but that hip hop beat, what they were working with. And again, Daisuke, one of his trademarks was the hip hop Swan Lake piece that he used back in 2008 as a short program. And you can see the adoring fans, I'm sure, will be delighted to see this legend of Japanese figure skating returning. And interesting even to see the physical changes of the demands of this discipline. You can see the muscular arms that will have had to develop and the new requirements placed upon him within this version of the sport. And greeted by Marina Zueva. She responsible for the Olympic wins of Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer in their first Olympic title, and Merrill Davis and Charlie White after that. So they have great education, and obviously such great quality. And I'll continue to reference the fact that this man was a world champion in the men's singles discipline, but just such different requirements stylistically and within the elements in the dance category. And it'll be fascinating to see how the judges review that. Here, difficult entry, and this, the change of position as their feature to accrue a level 4. Level 4 being the highest level awarded by the technical panel. And here the sequential twizzles, arms aloft as a level feature. And this third twizzle, which we're just about to see, another level feature. All the couples working on carving out level 4 elements, big grades of execution. And it looks like the technical panel were relatively impressed. 2 key points for them in the Midnight Blues. And level 3 for both Kana and Daisuke in the pattern dance type step sequence, which that in itself, admirable call for them both. And as ever with the Japanese skaters, showing respect to the coaches. Nice to see Marina Zueva. We haven't seen her on the competition circuit as readily for the last couple of seasons. And that, an impressively big score, making it difficult for the second Japanese team left to skate, who we'll see in 2 skaters' time.
Sofia Shevchenko, Igor Eremenko組, Russia.
Number 2, representing Russia, Sofia Shevchenko and Igor Eremenko.
Shevchenko and Eremenko, 4th in the Russian National Championships last season. And eager to impress here in Tokyo at the NHK Trophy.
Say you're suspicious, you keep dreaming.
Cool slide within the step sequence. Some fun novelty and transitions within the choreography for Shevchenko and Eremenko. Love that closing lift highlight, as to with some of the slight transition within the step sequence. As I mentioned in warm-up, they were not initially included among the International Skating Union Grand Prix assignments. And Eremenko was quite vocally protesting this, having seen some lower-ranked teams from Russia selected to compete on the Grand Prix circuit. But due to injuries and withdrawals, they find themselves competing here, as they're greeted by Irina Zhuk, their long-term coach. She, alongside her husband Alexander Svinin, coaches of Stepanova and Buchan, who we saw place third in Torino at the Italian Grand Prix last week. I thought it was a little tight, a few little wobbles. Wobble on the difficult entry in the left, slight wobble within the pattern dance type step sequence on his double twizzle. And I'm sure the pressure, some little checked rotation in the twizzle as well. I think Sophia may drop a level on this, the sequential twizzles. The pressure, I'm sure, to embrace this opportunity will have factored into understandable nerves for Sofia and Igor. It's going to be really interesting to see what the Russian Figure Skating Federation choose to do in regards to ice dancers competing in Beijing. Sadly, Zagorsky and Guerrero, who have been on the world team, often have had illness this season. We're wishing them all the best, but it's unclear exactly what's happening with them. And with Sofia and Igor fourth at last year's Nationals, could they become Olympians in February next year? The scores here will be crucial in deciding. And this, that closing trick that I mentioned. So much thought, time, and energy goes into the choreography and construction of these programs, as the teams work to try to make them as favorable with the judging panels as is possible. Judges have a composition component mark.
Score, please.
They must award the skaters.
Shevchenko Eremenko 組の得点 65.17 現在の順位は第2位です
The score for Sofia Shevchenko and Igor Eremenko is 65.17, and this brings them currently in second place.
(3 番 Komatsubara and Koleto 組 日本
Number 3, representing Japan, Misato Komatsubara and Team Koleto.
A 6th place finish for Komatsubara and Koleto in Las Vegas at Skate America. But the finishing result in this event probably not as crucial as the comparison between their compatriots, who we've seen already. Solid twizzles to start. Well done, Misato Komatsubara and Tim Koleto from Japan. Really rising to the challenge laid down by their compatriots. And that, to me, an even stronger, more energetic and dynamic performance than that which they produced in Skate America. And that particularly impressive because since that event they couldn't return to their training base and their coaches in Montreal due to an electrical authorization issue. So they returned to Colorado Springs, where Tim's family are based and where Tim used to train as a single skater many years ago. And through Zoom, they work with the coaching staff in the Ice Academy in Montreal, and obviously that has served to help them. And it looked like, although they look pensive now, it looked like they really embraced the warmth and energy from the crowd and used it to deliver well here. Greeted by Roman Ugonauer as they leave the ice. And it's fascinating that Tim has competed as a single skater for America. He then competed as a dancer for Norway with Theo Raab, and then competed for South Korea as well. So the pursuit of Olympian status has been long in the coming. And then now, having got married to Misato and attaining that Japanese citizenship, it must have been challenging to then find a former world singles champion, Daisuke Takahashi, vying for that same ticket to the games as an ice dancer. But all credit to Misato and Tim. In interviews, they've said how inspired they are by Daisuke and Kana, and acknowledge the fact that Japan having more than one team only serves to improve Japanese skating. So total respect to this team for the way they've embraced the competition. And to me, their performance here, just that little sharper. 3 more weeks of training have facilitated tighter musicality, tighter energy, and an improvement over their last competitive appearance. Muramoto and Takahashi posted that big 70.74 for their rhythm dance performance. And you can see from the slow-mo here what this will mean to Misato and Tim. Their personal best to date, just 68.02.
The score, please.
Komatsubara Koleto組の得点 68.13 今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。
So it's a season's best and a personal best, which they should be proud of. But they'll be very eager to overturn the result in the free skate tomorrow in the free dance.
4番アレクサンドラ・ナザロワ・マキシム・ニキティン組ウクライナ
Number 4, representing Ukraine, Alexandra Nazarova and Maxim Nikitin.
The only Olympians in this warm-up group, the Ukrainians, Nazarova and Nikitin. A wobble from Maxim. A great difficult entry into the twizzles. Transition within the pattern dance type steps. Love, love, love the lift. And a little sigh from Maxim suggests that didn't feel the best for the couple. but lots to admire, and they really do have some great novelty and unique movement. The lift just, so difficult and so impressive. The challenge for Nazarova and Nikitin is that they don't possess the same amount of length of glide when they strike the ice. So we've seen already more ice coverage, more flow with each of the strokes that some of the other ice dance teams have used. And it's that which will be reflected in the judges' skating skills component score. And furthermore, just looking at some of the calls that have been are being shown up by the technical panel, looks like the pattern dance type step, just a level 1 for both she and he, and a level 1 midline step as well. So the base value for the technical element score will be lower. And they were 21st at the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. This was great, difficult entry into the twizzles. And I wonder if we shall see any little breaks in the rotation which can drop the level. Just there you can see the little break in the blade rotation from Alexandra, which the technical panel will pick up on. So all the teams being awarded a technical element score and a program component score to make their total. And this lift will be level 4, as most teams will achieve. Level 4 status in the lift, relatively easy, but the couples will all be trying to choose different features to enhance the grade of execution, with the maximum grade of execution being a +5, and that is what I'm sure we're likely to see from at least Chock and Bates, who will skate last. Coached by Alexander Julin on their team. He not in the kissing try with him, it's Galina Churulova. But Julin also responsible for Sinitsina and Katsalapov, who we'll see compete later on. I presume he's gone to his other charges to prepare them as we head towards the next group on the ice. This couple, top 10 in Europeans before, they've been as high as 9th in the 2017 Europeans. And it'll be interesting to see what their plans are. Will this be a team that will continue for one more Olympic cycle? It's likely to be their last season competitively. Remains to be seen. It looks like she's been cut by his braces, probably on one of the lifts.
66.07, and this brings them currently in 3rd place.
So Japan 1 and 2, but over 2.5 points separate them. A brilliant opening performance from Muramoto and Takahashi. They will be delighted to have that cushion heading into the free dance tomorrow. Potentially they've made it difficult to stay ahead. Some of the teams yet to skate, as we see the next 5 couples take to the ice.
From Canada,
Lajoie,
from Spain,
Hurtado, Khaliavin.
from Great Britain,
Gibson.
from Russia,
Sinitsina Nikita Katsalapov 組
From USA,
マディソン・チョック、エヴァン・ベイツ組
skaters, please start your 5-minute warm-up.
So it's going to be fascinating to see the choreography of Sinitsina and Katsalapov. Nikita has suffered with a back injury, which has forced him to withdraw from some challenger events.
Skaters in Group 2 in the order of skating.
It'll be really interesting to see how they progress from their World Championship win in Stockholm in March, moving towards the Games next February. The young Canadian team in their second Grand Prix event, 6th place for them at Skate Canada. She has effervescent joy. She really exudes a joyful presence on the ice. And such commitment to the expression even without the music on. So the long fought battle between Spain's top two dance teams continues as Hurtado and Khaliavin attempts to become Spanish team selected for Beijing. And again, for all of these athletes, what happens leading up to the Games in February will be heaviest on their mind. The crowd favourites the British team, Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson. They struggled in Canada, some mistakes there, found them in 7th place. They'll be eager to redeem and get on the podium here. Twice they've been 4th at the NHK. And you can hear a very knowledgeable Japanese audience here reacting to the presence of the world champions here in the NHK Trophy. I'm sure Victoria and Nikita will have eagerly studied the French champions from the Italian Grand Prix in Torino last week. These two don't have to look far to study Papadakis and Cizeron. They train with them. I'm sure training in the wonderful Ice Academy of Montreal served to improve Chock and Bates over the years, over the last few seasons. Narrowly losing to Hubble and Donahue at Skate America. They're looking brilliant on their twizzles. Really interesting to see if the back injury has affected Nikita at all. He doesn't look to be holding back at all, but will it have affected his fitness levels? It'll be more evident in the 4-minute free dance, which the teams will perform tomorrow.
1 minute remaining in the warm-up.
10 elements in the free dance, just 5 in the rhythm dance. As we saw in the pairs as well, so many competitions within the competition. Spanish team, they too, just like the Japanese before them, whilst I'm sure they'll want to be on the podium here, their scores in relation to Olivia Smart and Adria Diaz will be particularly pertinent to them. Great connection between Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson. They'll skate to music from Kiss in their street dance.
練習時間終了です。選手の皆さんはリンクサイドにお上がりください。
The warm-up is over. Skaters, please leave the ice. Thank you.
Guards being placed on to protect their blades as the skaters leave the ice. Leaving the stage for Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Lagha, former junior world champions from Canada.
Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Lagha.
That is one incredibly well-trained and physically fit team. Their energy levels amazing, and she doesn't even look particularly exhausted. Such energy from start to finish, and saving the sequential twizzles, arguably the hardest and most risky element of the 5 in the rhythm dance, saving that for the last element. A real testament to their physical fitness and readiness to compete. Really impressive. And Marjorie, really sassy in commitment to the interpretation. It's going to be great to see some of these playbacks. Roman Huguenot and Patrice Lauzon. Patrice on the coaching staff at the Ice Academy Montreal and a world silver medalist himself. Never a split second with that facial commitment with a pelvic thrust there from Zachary. This really cool, difficult entry. And in terms of judging creative execution criteria, I thought the rotation speed of this rotation lift was really impressive. And Zachary kept ice coverage, that another factor in attaining a higher grade of execution. When they competed in Canada, their pattern dance step was just a level 2. Looking like here they've been awarded a level 3 for both Marjorie and Zachary, so potentially a higher score than they received in the Canadian event. They had a 71.87 in Vancouver. And that would take them into the lead ahead of the Japanese.
The score, please.
Lajoie and Lagha組の得点 74.45。今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。
Solid lead for the young Canadian team, moving almost 4 points ahead of Kana, Muramoto and Takahashi, who have led since the start of the event, but no longer.
In first place.
6番サラ・ウルタド、キリル・ハリャービン組、スペイン。
Number 6, representing Spain, Sara Hurtado and Kirill Khaliavin.
So coach Alexander Julin, second of the 3 teams that he works with. Spanish stars Hurtado and Khaliavin. And the female ice dancers really bringing it with the interpretation and commitment, such commitment. And kudos to the International Skating Union for freeing up the dance teams and coaches and choreographers to choose novel music that great to hear in the sporting arena. Much fun, I'm sure, for Hurtado, Khaliavin and their training mates to hear Beyonce every day for their rhythm dance choice for this, the most important season of their lives. They, the Spanish team, which was selected to compete in Pyeongchang, they finished 12th nearly 4 years ago at the Games then. And they'll be desperately eager to return as Olympians again for Spain. But the battle between them and Smart and Diaz is intense. And it's just a shame that both of these brilliant Spanish teams can't both compete in the game. Just one team able to go. So, a little question mark for me on the midline step. They left the difficult turns really late in terms of the content. But got to love Sarah's energy. She cut such a striking figure on the ice. And like so many of the female ice dancers, brilliant diva-like interpretation to the movement. Olivia and Adria secured that bronze medal in Skate Canada in the second of the 6 Grand Prix events, and they posted a 76.97 in their rhythm dance at that event. And Sarah and Kirill desperate to overturn it. It was actually Smart and Diaz who were the top Spanish team at the Finlandia Trophy. Both couples competed at that same event. But Hurtado and Khaliavin did have mistakes there. They're just both so evenly matched, both just so brilliant. Who would have known Spain would boast two such brilliant ice dance teams?
The score, please.
Hurtadoハリアービン組の得点 76.40 今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。
So first place, season's best, with a little shake of the head from Creel potentially because it's a little lower than their compatriots. But job well done, and they should be proud of themselves.
And this brings them currently in first place.
Number 7, ライラ・フィア、ルイス・ギブソン組、イギリス。
Number 7, representing Great Britain, Laila Beer and Louis Gibson.
One of the most entertaining of the ice dance teams on the senior circuit from Great Britain, Laila Fear and Louis Gibson. Super comfortable and composed on the twizzles. touchdown of their free foot. Little struggle on the change of edge there for Lewis. They had to compensate. They were affectionately named the Disco Brits a couple of seasons ago when their disco-inspired free dance attracted them fans from around the world. And then they grew even bigger fan base with their Madonna voguing free dance from last year. And this, the Kiss rhythm dance, sure to attract even more appreciation as we see Union Jacks in the audience, proving that their fan base is international. They were 4th at NHK in 2018 and 2019. Last year's NHK event, due to the pandemic, only 3 participants in the ice dance category last year in the NHK, and all Japanese skaters. So we can hear Lewis just reacting to that little bobble within the Midnight Blues section. It looked like he was working hard to get the key point on the right inside bracket, and I think there was a reaction later on. Judges will pick up on that in the grade of execution. That said, Twizzle's much better. Lila had a little struggle with the Twizzles in Skate Canada, just a level 2 for her there, and a bit of a minus GOE, but much better solid start here. And they looked like they came out fighting and attacking. And this team has a really brilliant working relationship. There's a real respect between the couple. They seem to get on incredibly well, which is wonderful to see. There you see that the Choctaw step within their pattern dance type steps. Technical panel counting the number of cleanly performed difficult turns, which will dictate the level call that they get. It's looking good. Level 3 showing up for both skaters on the pattern dance type step.
The score, please.
フィアー・ギブソン組の得点 76.43。 今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。現在の順位は第1位です。
Lewis looking appreciative of the score and almost 5 points higher than in Canada. 3/100ths of a point above the Spanish team to take them into the lead, and that should keep them in medal contention for the free dance tomorrow.
8番ビクトリア・セニツィナ、ニキータ・カサラポフ組、ロシア。
So the hotly anticipated Grand Prix debut of the world champions from Russia, Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Katsalapov. safely through the first element. Great edge set on that forward outside rocker. Wow, well, no sign of injury inhibiting their preparation. Nikita looking as physically fit as ever I've seen. And that really signs of world champion confidence, perhaps more confident than we've seen them before, as thanks to that world title. And you could argue that the pressure of entering into their Grand Prix debut this season as world champions could create some tightness and apprehension, but no holding back whatsoever. And I think potentially the most confident I've ever seen Victoria skate as well. Nikita giving Ilya Kulik costume vibes, 98 Olympic champion. The question to me really will be, how does that compare with the whacking inspired rhythm dance from Gabriela and Guillaume? And everything has to be scrutinized. The grades of execution will be so crucial. Is it slightly mismatched in the arm line? Is it slightly eyes down? We have to really nitpick, because Olympic gold medals are hard to come by and hotly contested, and it'll be that level of nitpicking which I think will dictate who comes out triumphant in Beijing between this Russian team and the four-time world champions from France. Looks like the technical panel being stricter on Victoria, with a level 3 for her twizzles and a level 2 for her pattern dance type steps. I'm sure she'll be working hard to rectify that for their second Grand Prix when they compete this rhythm dance again.
The score, please.
And Alexander Julin on the left of your screen, 19 93 world champions work is done for today.
86.33。
Big score. The world record in the rhythm dance, 90 from Papadakis and Cizeron, but that an impressive start to their Grand Prix.
Cuba, Madison Chock, Evan Bates 組、アメリカ。
Number 9, representing USA, Madison Chock and Evan Bates.
And thanks to their world ranking, Chock and Bates will close out this rhythm dance section of the competition in this year's NHK Trophy. Well, look at the intensity on Evan's face at the end. And you can hear what the audience thought as they clapped along to their medline step sequence in the last element of the program. I argue more matched, more precise than the Russians. Thematically, potentially more considered. But not the same level of power, speed, and acceleration. So when it comes to the skating skills, I think the judges will have to go with the Russians. And the skating skills component score is the most weighted of the 5 for sure. Be really interesting to see how the judges compare in regards the composition component score? Because so many of the couples that come out of that Ice Academy of Montreal have had such well-considered program construction. The Midnight Blues and the key points towards the end of that section of the dance. And the difficult entry, Evan in the spread eagle. Inside spread eagle is his difficult feature. Difficult exit, the last feature. There's a slight bobble from Madison there. And that, I think, will cause her to drop a level in the twizzles. And this team, they had such a torrid time in Pyeongchang at the games with a fall in the free dance, and they have reinvented themselves in this Olympic cycle, working with new coaches, and all credit to them for the impeccable commitment they've given to their craft. And obviously a united couple on and off the ice in the pursuit of Olympic glory. 82.55 in the rhythm dance for Chock and Bates in Skate America. Will it be here in Tokyo? Victoria and Nikita watch on, awaiting judges' decision. Well, the couples will have to refuel and rest tonight ahead of the more physically grueling free dance tomorrow, which will determine final results. The events are so physically exhausting and mentally draining for the team. So much pressure in their preparation, and now pressure on the judging panel and technical panel to deliver the score, as I sense the crowd wants to see the Americans on top. Seems like a long wait. Their personal best, 85.76, would not beat Sinitsina and Katsalapov. They'll need a PB to overtake the Russians. So it's a PB, but it's 3/10 behind the world champions, and I do not think Chock and Bates will be disappointed to be so close to the reigning world champions. Well done to the Americans for their rhythm dance.
This
concludes the competition for the ice dance, rhythm dance.
So, first and second place is tight, and as is the fight for the bronze place, with just 307 points separating the Brits and the Spanish team. And then the fight below that with the Japanese teams. A fascinating event in the rhythm dance here in Tokyo at the NHK Trophy. So much to play for in the free dance tomorrow. But before that, we have the women and the men's short programs to look forward to. Join us shortly for some more fantastic skating from Tokyo.